election.
It's rigging.
Of this election.
Which machinery do I have to rig? I'm no councillor, no government chairman,
Listen. I'm not saying, hold on. I'm not saying this to make you happy.
What they are doing is what
Listen,
I'm trying to change.
I'm not saying it to make you happy. I'm saying the truth and nothing but the truth.
Okay, so let's
You may not have been pronounced as the winner, no problem.
Post-presidential election. Now, what
law
some
will
of your
take this,
candidates
course.
under the Labour Party umbrella?
Thank you for always inviting me, being there for Nigerians, thank the Arise facility for what they've done. My first is to thank God Almighty for His keeping Nigeria, protecting it, and blessing it. Thanking the good people of Nigeria for their interest and participation in trying to build a new Nigeria. The journey so far has been very tough. But that is what is expected. It's been difficult because you're trying to change what is there that hasn't kept us where we are. So it's going to be difficult. But if you look at the last election, as you know, it's probably the worst election considering in this particular republic, considering the 2022 electoral law, which was meant to improve our overall election process, and the continued and consistent promises of the chairman of INEC that this is going to be the best thing that has ever happened to Nigeria and everything. And you could see it in all the editorials, in all the international newspapers from Financial Times, The Economist, Wall Street Journal, everybody, including Chatham House, where even the chairman was there. He has questioned the rating of the country. And for me in particular, it's one of sadness. 63 years after Nigerian independence, we can't conduct simple election. Talk less of any other, just election. Despite all the promises. And it's not as if we're too big or too this. The world's biggest democracy, India today, have about 900 registered voters. In their last election, 67% participated. Over 600 million. Which if you look at our 24 million, that's 25 times our size. Yet the infractions were less than 5%. In our own, opposite is the case. However, my appeal to Nigerians is to remain, to my Biden family, to Nigerians is to remain calm, remain prayerful for our country, Nigeria. We have no other country except this one. And we will go through all legal, peaceful means to bring a new Nigeria where everybody will be happy and proud to say, I'm a Nigerian. I'm very respectful to prominent Nigerians, especially church leaders, traditional rulers, and all that. And I remain very respectful to them. And I think they should be respected for what they represent in our society. But I disagree with them. What they're actually preaching is the problem of Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria is accepting wrongdoing, accepting what is unacceptable. That is using God's name in vain. That's not what God said. God said, do not use my name in vain. So what they're saying is not God's wish. It is not God's plan for Nigeria. So why don't we accept that the 133 million Nigerians who are poor is God's wish? Why don't we accept that 95 million Nigerians living in absolute poverty is God's wish? It is God's wish that you don't have electricity. It is God's wish that our children are kidnapped. It is God's wish that we have collapsed primary health care, leading us to be the country with the highest infant mortality. It is everything happening. It's God's way, not so what God says. No. God's wish is when you do the right thing. And in the end, it is done. This election was predicated and planned. And we have clear laws about the conduct of the election. If it was followed, if this result were uploaded from the booth, polling units, like they said, to the server and everything, we won't be here, we won't be talking about it. It would have been concluded in a matter of hours without anybody arguing about it. But it is not God's wish that you do the wrong thing. It is not God's wish that you go and rob a train and make money and start sharing it. It is not God's wish. This is what is killing the country. People come here, take public money, and then go and give it to people in the church and they say it's God's wish, and start giving them title in the church, title in this. That is what we are fighting. That's what we want to stop. We want God's wish to be truly God's wish. And that is when we do the right things and God gives his blessing. What we are doing now is why they come. What do you tell the young ones growing up? That it's God's wish that you steal? That is God's wish that you conduct a wrong election? So tell me the difference between those of us who are doing this and the armed robbers. What is the difference between us and the trained robbers? Let's be sincere with ourselves. That's why it's God's wish that somebody came to your station and said he knows a governor who have 22 billion naira stacked, and nobody's asking about him. But we are stopping young people who are carrying computer and questioning them and calling them names. That's not God's wish. God wishes something better. What I want is God to allow us to do the right things so we can start building a better country for our children.
All right. So there are several, messaging and news going on around that INEC is not allowing your legal team to inspect the materials used, for the election. What's going to be your next action as regards this?
Well, INEC is a public institution sustained by taxpayers' money, including you and me. And I believe there's law about public institutions. If there's anything, they should be open because they conducted the election. It's that everywhere. If you do something and people are not satisfied, it's for you to open up yourself. This is not the first time I'm going to court with INEC. Since 2003, I would say several times, I've had to challenge INEC results. Remember that I'm the first governor in this country to come through the process of court by being in court for 3 years. Throughout the 3 years, I was in court with INEC giving me access to whatever materials they used to conduct the election. You've conducted the election, Rufai. You've announced or declared the winner. I'm only asking, can I have access to the documents and materials you used to arrive at that? I'm not asking you to change what you said. And remember, like I always say, people, I'm not challenging their declaration. Sorry, I'm not challenging who they declared. I'm not challenging whatever the outcome. I'm challenging the process which they arrived at their declaration. And unless we do that, we're not going to stop the rascality we witnessed in that election. The process through which people come into office is, for me, I said it everywhere, is far more fundamental than what they do thereafter. There's a process of doing things. There's a process of arriving at any destination. If, like I said in my press conference, if you're going to answer His Excellency, the process of coming to that position must be excellent. If you're going to be a bishop, there's a process of being a bishop. Dr. Ruben is a doctor. Why didn't you call me a doctor? Don't I look like a doctor? You called him a doctor because he went and read PhD. Rufai might be awarded a doctor by university. So he's a doctor. But you can't just go on the street and say you're a doctor when you're not. So there must be a process, because even if it's going to be awarded, you must have done something that merited you to be awarded that. Or you must have, like Ruben, went and read PhD. Otherwise, we're all doctors. So a process is important.
Right. So what would you be doing next, really, if they're not granting you access to this?
We'll follow the law. We'll go back to the court and say, what you granted, these people are not obeying. We're not going to be, for me, we'll do whatever is necessary within the law. Whatever we're going to do will be for the interest of the country. But they will give us access because they pronounce and declare somebody. So we must have access to the process they arrived at that.
Since February 25th, the commerce shows